Right then, I'm going to be reacting to my Championship 24-25 predictions. So I've got the list here. I've worked out how many points I was off by. So we're going to get started straight away. So we're going to go from top to bottom. I've done it with the Premier League. If you want to watch that one, it's on my YouTube. But this is as well. Wow, I've just fumbled the bag here. It's below this one, but there's a video predicting next season's Premier League, and then there's this one. So if you want to watch how I thought the Premier League would go, give it a watch. It was okay. Starting off here, 24th, I had Oxford to go down. Not a bad prediction. I think a few people would have made that. I think they've built their squad well to survive in the Championship, and they've deserved where they finished in 17th, so I was off by 7 places. But not a great prediction to start off with. However, it's an understandable one. So we're going to start off with a juicy 7. It's going to get worse from here. But not just yet. 23rd, I predicted Plymouth. And where did they finish? 23rd. We stay on 7. Bang on prediction here. That's 1. It's Plymouth. Obviously, Wayne Rooney being appointed majorly impacted me to pick that. And it also majorly impacted their season to finish there, to be fair. And I think they've lost that manager they've got. So I think they'll struggle in League One as well. 22nd, I had Portsmouth. They finished in 16th, so I was 6 places off. Not a bad prediction as well. I can understand where I was coming from, but I was 6 places off, so that's 13 now. We just got out of the relegation zone. We're on 13 points, which is better than what the Premier League one went. I think I'll just check that. Yes, we finished in the Premier League one with 16, so we're 3 better off here so far. I'm just going to spoil it now. It does not end like that. 21st, QPR. They finished 15th. But they were bad. In my opinion. Towards the end of the season, they were terrible. And a spoiler alert, I have predicted them in 21st again, I believe, for next season. Yes, I have. So, if you want to see where else everyone's predicted for next season, watch the video coming out after this one. But, yeah, QPR at 6. We're on 19 now. Not great. Moving on to 20th, I had Derby to survive. The only team I had going up to survive. They finished 19th. They were actually the lowest of the 3. But they still finished where I had them pretty much. I had them in 20th. They finished 19th. So for me, I've done a good job, I think. That was good. Now the first absolute stinker prediction is coming. Millwall to finish in 19th. They finished in 8th. 11 places wrong. I can't remember where I was coming from with this one. And I've just got to admit it's a bad one. The same mistake will not be made next season, however, you'll see where they finish for me next season. But Millwall in 19th, not my finest prediction. Not the worst of the video, though. It gets worse. Moving on to 18th, another correct prediction. I had Stoke in 18th. I'm proud of that one. That's a good pull. So we've got 2 right so far. We've beaten the Premier League video. Spoiler, the only one I got right was Arsenal. But yeah, we've beaten the Premier League video already with Stoke. I'm happy with that one. I'm just going to put it here so I don't have to keep looking down. Moving on to 17th, I had Cardiff. That is not bad in my opinion. I think people would have had Cardiff higher. I've gone with 17th to finish 24th. They were bottom of the league. I thought that they wouldn't get relegated. Obviously, in all my prediction videos, I said they're a better team than they are in the table. But if you don't get the results, that's what happens. And they've been relegated. So, +7 it is for me now. We are on 38. We got 31 from Millwall, by the way. I don't think I said 20 from Derby. So, we're on 38 now with Cardiff. And 17th, which isn't too bad. Moving on next. We've got Watford in 16th, I said. They finished 14th, so I was 2 wrong. I underestimated them a little bit. But brings the total up to 39, but 2 places off. Not a bad prediction, in my opinion. Not too bad at all. I'd just like to disclose from this point forward, I've realised whilst editing, that because I can't do 38 plus 2 equals 40, I think it's 39, that the maths from this point on is 1 off, so on the screen it'll be 1 up, and that is the correct score because I'm an idiot and I can't add 2 onto a number, so sorry about that. Hopefully it's not a big distraction. It's really annoyed me though, but I can't re-record all of that. So yeah, it's just got to do, unfortunately. I'm very sorry, but hopefully you keep enjoying this video. I can't enjoy it anymore. 15th, Swansea. They finished in 11th, so we were 4 off. I said in the Premier League video, 3 or 4 is probably the max you can be off and say it's a good prediction. Other than maybe like predicting a team to fall off, like Cardiff a little bit, I'd say that's not too bad. And yeah, I'd say that this is on the border of being okay. Swansea brings the total up to 43, but I don't think it's too much of a bad prediction. I'd take that. Moving on to 14th, I had Sheffield Wednesday. They finished 12th. They won't do that well this season, let me tell you. But also, I've had an absolute horror right in there. Anyway, that doesn't matter, you can't see it. But Sheffield Wednesday, they had their moments. They earned the mid-table position, really. But +2, 45, that's not a bad prediction. We'll be happy with that. 13th, I had Bristol City. The team that is renowned for being mid-table, I had them in the mid-table. And guess what? They went to get into the playoffs. +7, they finished 6th, so it's 52 points we're on now. I can understand where I was coming from with this one. It's not too bad. As I say, +4 is like the max of saying it's good, but I can say that I can understand where I was coming from for this one. In 12th, I had Hull, who finished just outside the playoffs last season, so I had them falling off. I just underestimated how much it would fall off by. It's +9, they finished 21st. Not a great prediction from me. However, I did predict the fall off, so it's bad, but it's not horrible. Moving on to 11th, I had Preston, who finished 20th. So funnily enough, I had Hull and Preston right next to each other, but just 9 places too high for both of them. Brings the total up to 70 now. Yeah, it's not looking good. Preston, obviously mid-table team. I thought they'd do a little bit better this season, but hey, they did well in the FA Cup. I predicted them to do a little bit better, and they had a good FA Cup season. Just unfortunately, I didn't reflect onto the league as much. Respectable, though. The prediction, not the result. 20th is terrible. Hopefully they rebuild a little bit better, get a couple more players in. Yeah, I'll take that. It's not a bad prediction, to be fair. Moving on to 10th place, I had Sunderland. They obviously finished 4th. They were in and around the title race for the majority of the season. Just fell off around mid-season and cemented themselves in 4th. Obviously didn't play that well towards the end. I said numerous times, if you don't have any form of momentum, you won't win the playoffs. So what did they do? They won the playoffs. I don't like this game. This game's a bad game. But 10th wasn't the worst shout I've seen for Sunderland, so I'm alright with that to an extent. It was okay, not good, because it's 6 off. Brings the total up to 76. But one that I'm fairly surprised with, I had Blackburn in 9th. That was probably purely with the fact that they had the manager that they did in John Eustace. Sorry, I got weird eye movements. But yeah, that was purely because they had John Eustace as manager, I think, and obviously he went to go to Derby like towards the end of the season, but they still managed to maintain 7th, which is decent. The new manager they've got now is good. Also, my eyes are going funny because of the ring light. I think I might have to take a break before I do the next video. Yeah, Blackburn finished 7th, so it's +2, brings up to 78. A good prediction. Good prediction. However, a not so great prediction is Sheffield United in 8th. They obviously finished 3rd, went to the Premier League playoff. There we go. Can't got my tongue, and my eyes are actually really hurting. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, one sec. That's a bit better. It's probably made the video look a bit weirder now, though, but I've got Sheffield United in 8th, obviously. Premier League playoffs, went to Wembley and lost, but my prediction's not as bad as Callum Fowler's.
Another team I've got in here is Sheffield United. I have got Sheffield United finishing 18th.
Sorry, Callum, I had to throw you in the mud there. He's done a decent job, to be fair. Has Chris Wilder. I'll give him his flowers. He's done all right. Just put the foot off the gas at the wrong point, which let Leeds and Burnley clear off and finish where they finished. I'd say though Sheffield United +5, 83. +5 is not terrible. Obviously, it's a lot better than what Callum Fowler had to put on. Sorry, Callum, I'm throwing you in the mud again. But in all fairness, everyone thought Sheffield United would have a little bit of a slip because they didn't look too good. So Wilder's done a decent job. Moving on to 7th, I had Middlesbrough. An understandable prediction, in my opinion. Didn't go to plan though, as they finished 10th, which is +3. They take us up to 86, and they did fall off a little bit. Sorry, there was a cut there because I had indigestion or something. I don't know. No, this video's so bad. I'm not restarting it. It's getting posted. This is the worst video on the channel. Yeah. But yeah. Middlesbrough 7th, finished 10th, +3, 86. Not bad. However, what is bad, but understandable at the same time, Norwich in 6th. They obviously finished in the playoffs last season. I thought they'd do the same again, but they tumbled down to 13th, which gave me a +7. Not great at all. However, understandable again. I think some of these predictions are off by a lot, but understandable. This being one of them as well. So that takes us up to 93. Norwich upgrade that defence. You've got a League One defence. 5th place, believe it or not, Coventry. I got this one bang on. After Coventry's run in the FA Cup last season, I saw where they were really good, and I thought they're going to do well this season. That they did. They did get into the playoffs. A good prediction from me. I'm proud of that one. I don't know if many people would have got that one bang on, but I am one of them, so fair play to me. Keeps the total at 93. Another bang on prediction to add to the list. I'm proud. 5th place, West Brom. Understandable again. They were in the playoffs last season. I thought they'd do it again. They didn't do too bad though. They finished 9th, so I can't call it a good prediction. I'll call it an understandable one again. Takes the total to 98. Overall, I can't really fault that one. West Brom have a decent side. I think they'll probably get around playoffs-ish this season as well. They deserve to be in the Premier League, to be honest. I would like to see them back up there. Which leaves us with 3rd place, Burnley. I thought Burnley would just miss out on automatic promotion. However, they did in fact draw with Leeds on 100 points. And for me, that's decent. I'd take that. +1. They were in 2nd, 99 points. However, you might have noticed someone's been missing from this list, and I'll tell you where they are now. They're in 2nd. It's Luton Town. I thought after Luton's respectable, well, kind of respectable Premier League season, they kept hold of a lot of the squad. I thought they'll be okay. They'll go back up. What did they do? They got relegated to League One. I don't even know why, to be honest. I'm confused as to how that's happened, but the game's the game. Finished 22nd, not 2nd. I missed off by 20 places for the worst prediction of the year, followed closely by and behind that only by a little bit. There's not one on this list, I don't think. No. I'd say that the 2nd worst one, I believe, was Spurs for the Premier League. So 2 awful predictions there, predicting 2 teams to go top 3 of the table, and both of them near relegation or being relegated. So yeah, 119. However, of course, we will not get any more points on the end of that because I had Leeds going up as champions, and that is what they did. It came down to the final day, very nail-biting game, down to the last minute really, with Manor Solomon being the one to put the goal in the back of the net for that correct prediction and for the champions. So I'll take that. Not a bad season.
120 points.
Is a bit poor, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 predictions right, being Plymouth, Stoke, Coventry and Leeds. I'd say that Stoke and Coventry were good predictions. Also, Burnley was +1. Blackburn +2. Watford +2. Wednesday +2. Derby +1. I'd say that's another 5 predictions that were okay. So we've got about 9 decent predictions in there. The ones that did go right kept the score down, but then the ones like Luton and Preston and Hull took the score down quite a bit. Took the score up, sorry. So that's what's cost me in the end. But overall, a decent season of predicting. So you'll see what I've got for next season coming up very shortly. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.